A very good morning, late tea time podders around the world. Just before we get into this, DT, you made a funny face just before we went on there. Then you went, did you realise that? Anyway, I could see in the bottom of my screen.
Unmute
we are.
me.
Yeah, I did. I need to unmute you. I'll tell
I
you what.
was stretching my facial muscles so I could speak well.
I apologise in advance for this because I am so tired today. It is crazy, and I can something that highlights how tired I am. Was I went to make myself a coffee this morning, DT. I've got a nice fancy coffee machine. I put in all of the kind of ground my coffee, put it in the little thing, put it into the coffee machine, waited for it to heat up, and pressed the start button. Turned around to get some toast, and then turned back and realised I'd not put a mug underneath the thing, and the whole thing was spilling all over the place.
Oh, dear.
So, yeah, I am a little bit of a mess, I think. Anyway, we are here for we are the late tea time podcast this week because we're coming to you on a Sunday for a change, and we are looking at the Wells Fargo DT, aren't we? And obviously, 3 rounds gone in that one so far, and at the top of the leaderboard in the Wells Fargo at the moment, Xander Schauffele 12 under, Rory McIlroy's 11s, Sungjae Im is 8 under, Sepp Straka's 7s, Jason Day 5s. You have got, apparently for me, one outright pick today, and then we're going to look at a few 2 balls and put them into a bit of an acca. So shall we start off with the outright?
Yeah, I basically think it's a 2-horse race between the 2 leaders, obviously. Schauffele and McIlroy. And I watched a fair chunk of this last night. McIlroy's driving, my word, he's absolutely booming at a mile. Incredible distances, finding the fairway as well. You know, he's way past. Schauffele's not a short hitter by any means, and he was booming it way past him. Rory shot the best round of the day, joint best 67, to cut Schauffele's 4-shot lead to 1. So he's kind of catching him, and he's done the hard bit, I think, and now he's just got to complete the sort of dip on the line, and I think he'll do it. I mean, this is his tournament, isn't it? It's the first one he ever won on the PGA Tour. He's won it 3 times, and he's in golden position again. And when I was looking at the stats this morning, it's kind of everything seems to be sort of pro Rory. So I'll just go through some of these. So apparently it's the 3rd time they've played in the final group of a PGA Tour event together. So in the first 2, neither of them won. I think Keegan Bradley won that one. But in the second one, McIlroy won at the WGC HSBC in 2019. So McIlroy had the edge there. This is the 4th time this season Schauffele has been in the final group. How many has he won? 0. He's finished 10th at the Century, 4th at the Genesis, 2nd at the Players. So he's not converted, but he's not, taken this position in the final group and gone on to win. McIlroy, last time he was in the final group, bit of a while back actually, was in the Scottish Open. He won that, so that was good. And then Schauffele was in the final group of this tournament last year, didn't win again. McIlroy has been in the final group of this Wells Fargo twice. He's won both. So every way you look at it, it's coming out Schauffele a bit of a negative, McIlroy a positive. And then you've got Schauffele's career record from 54-hole leads. He's had 7 54-hole leads on the PGA Tour, only converted 2 of them. So he's not a great closer. Whereas McIlroy, here's the stat. It would be 11th time he's entered the final round at least 1 back and gone on to win. So Rory is really good from this position, kind of hunting down the leader. So that's about 8 or 9 different little stats that were all I found this morning that were all kind of listed. It wasn't sort of selective listing. It was just these are all the facts relevant to what's happening now, and they're all pro Rory McIlroy. So at a fraction of odds against, I'm all over him. I think he's the winner today.
Yeah, because if you look at the top 2 that you mentioned there, Xander Schauffele, he's just a fraction of odds on. He's 19 to 20. Rory McIlroy around about 15 to 13, if that is a price. And that's the frustration with Rory when it comes to majors, isn't it? Because when he's hitting the ball like he can, and we all know how good he can be, and then he has those bad days at majors, that's the frustration. He must personally be as frustrated as anybody.
Yeah, and you could argue that might be on his mind a little bit, but he won the Scottish Open the week before the Open last year, so he can focus on the task in hand. I just think it's so mental, isn't it, with Rory? It's kind of what's in his head, and at this course, in this tournament, all the stuff in his head is good stuff. So I think that gives him such an edge. If this was the final round of a major, I genuinely wouldn't know, because Scheffler hasn't won one before, McIlroy's not won one for 10 years, and I'll be thinking, not really sure here. But as it's this tournament, it's got to be McIlroy.
So Rory McIlroy then goes in at that rather convoluted price. What was it? I said 15 to 13. He goes on to the betting slip then to win the Wells Fargo. That takes us on to your two-ball treble that you promised me, and you're good at these. When we get into the majors, anybody that's never watched the Late Tee Time podcast before, we come to you each week on various days, depending on when we're available, to talk about the golf that's coming up or in play, as it is this week. And for the majors, we're with you every single day. And often we've had as much success in play kind of thing inside the tournament as we've had ahead of the tournament. And this is an opportunity today, isn't it?
Yeah. So we sort of mix it up, don't we, when we do these podcasts? And it's never a bad thing to do them on a weekend or a Saturday or Sunday, because you've seen a lot unfold. So for this week's final round two-ball treble, I'm going to start with the 5:55 game between Denny McCarthy and Lee Hodges, and it's McCarthy here at 4-5. Why? McCarthy, he was 8th in this event last year, shot a 66 on Sunday, so that bodes well for him doing something similar today, maybe. He was runner-up in Texas 2 or 3 starts ago, so in really good form. And looking at his numbers, he was 5th for strokes gained tee to green in round 3 yesterday. He's round a 69, one of just 5 rounds in a 60. So, sometimes a 69, well, as they're 10 a penny, but not yesterday. That tough scoring conditions. He managed one of the rare sub 70 rounds. Hodges shot 72, which was okay, but I think McCarthy, however you come at it, he's the more experienced. He's in good form, especially showing some good stuff this week. So I thought it was a fairly straightforward bet at 4-5. The second one is a bit of a pick 'em, both 11 to 10 if you shop around. Sam Burns to beat Jason Day. Sam Burns, he is 9th in approach so far this week, 10th off the tee, so striking it really well, back to some of his early season form. Jason Day had a bit of a strange round yesterday. He was 57th for tee to green. I mean, that's right down the bottom end of the field. There's 69 playing this week, so he really struggled. And I don't know what clothes he's. Have you seen what clothes he's wearing of late? I don't know what's going on there.
No.
It's just, if you saw him in the Masters, he wore some bizarre stuff.
Hasn't he shunned a previous sponsor and he's moved on to somebody else, and obviously trying to showcase what they're giving him, I think. And,
really, really big baggy bad trousers seems to be what. There goes our chances of some freebies, but there you go. I wouldn't wear
MC
those.
Hammer kind of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. But Day, he didn't have his game yesterday at all. Day has won here before, but he's missed the cut on his last 2 appearances, so it's not like he's in Rory territory where he comes here every year and is brilliant. I just think Burns is kind of finding a bit of form again before the USPGA. So Burns at 11 to 10 was the one there. That's a 6:25 tee-off time. And then the final one is Sepp Straka to beat Sung Jae-im. So the Austrian to beat the Korean. Sepp Straka 11 to 10. That's a 6:35 p.m. game. So Straka's 67 yesterday was the joint best of the day with McIlroy. Really, really good effort. I mean, to be fair to him, shot a 69, which is one of the better ones as well. But he kind of sort of dressed it up at the end because he holed out from a bunker, I think from 38 yards or something like that, maybe feet. At 18, I mean, that's he's shaving 2 shots off your score there immediately. Really, it was a tough bunker shot, and he just managed to hold that one out. But I do think if you look at the stats, Im is the number 1 putter this week. So it's keeping him in the game, but can it keep him in the game for a 4th round? You look at the historical stats here, it's not always down to who puts the best. and him is that's propping him up a little bit. Where Straka seems to be strong all round. Straka is 7th for putting, which is he's still playing really well on the greens, but he's 8th in strokes gained tee to green as well. So there's no sort of propping him up or masking another part of his game this week. Straka's doing everything well. So I thought that was a decent bet on Straka to beat him. So that treble pays 6.56 to 1 at William Hill.
Okay, 6.56 to 1 then on the treble for DT this week. I'm going to basically say thank you to switchwatersupplier.com for their continued support of the podcast. And then Gavino, off the back of this, we'll come back and we'll ask DT that question that you've asked on the messages. You can, when we're on the live stream, you can send in your messages and your questions as we go through. Gavino's done that about Rory. We'll come back and talk about that in a second.
All golfers want to stay away from the water. That splash as your round sinks beneath the surface is never a good sound. But golf courses rely on water to keep those fairways and greens lush. For that post-round shower or the clean glass at the 19th hole. Golf courses, indeed most businesses, spend way too much money on their water bills. Switch Water Supplier can cut your water costs and help your business save money. Register now at switchwatersupplier.com. They will do all the hard work and get your business the very best price for your water supply and claim money back if you've been overcharged. Switchwatersupplier.com. Switching made simple.
Switching made simple with switchwatersupplier.com, the sponsors of the Late Tea Time podcast. Thank you to them as always. And I mentioned the question, DT. Gavino 99 has posed this question here. Rory peaking a week too early again, do we think? All whilst Scotty is changing diapers and catching up on his sleep for Valhalla. So what's your thoughts on that, DT?
Well, I'm not sure Scotty Scheffler will be catching up on sleep, to be honest. He's just got a new baby. That's when he won't be getting any sleep. You could twist that the other way, couldn't you? You could say Scheffler will be absolutely knackered.
You say that. Do you reckon he's the one getting up in the middle of the night? I mean, his caddy's making a fortune. Get him to do it.
Yeah, maybe. He's a lovely man, though, and he's Scheffler. I imagine he's fully hands-on. So, yeah, you could twist that and you could say Scheffler will be whacked or distracted. You could say Rory's in great confidence, having maybe won this week. So, yeah, it's a bit of a spin. Yeah, I don't think you can say he's peaking too early. I just think it's this tournament. If you ask Rory, what would you rather do this week? Finish like 10th or win it? He'd say win it all day long. He did actually a good walk and talk yesterday where they put the old earbuds in and chatted him live while he was on one of the holes.
That. That's really, it's quite a new thing, isn't it? And they get literally right into the ears and into the mouths of the players actually in the round.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe, players have got to agree to it, I guess, but sometimes you feel some of them might be doing it slightly under duress, but you get the impression
they have to agree to it. I'd imagine that you can't just go up and force somebody to do it.
Yeah, but you imagine with Rory, you probably mic him up for the entire round and he'd love it because he just loves talking and explaining and sharing what he's doing. I thought he was a complete natural. I think it was great what he did yesterday. He got really good reviews on X, Twitter. Everyone's saying, that was really good. People saying, I'm not always a fan of Rory, but that was great. So, yeah, I thought that was really good. And part of it was quite useful as well. He was just saying how he sees all the tee shots really clearly in his eye at this course. It just sort of suits him. So it all backed up the idea that Rory's just having a great week. He's in a great mood. He won that pairs event, didn't he, with Shane Lowry the other week, where they just had a bit of a laugh and they were singing karaoke at the end. I just think he's all in good spirits. Whether he can carry this over to next week, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? But I think for this week, he's your man.
I tell you what, just before we say goodbye today, another question from me this time. Shane Lowry looks like a very good mate to have, I think. I think if you're mates with Shane Lowry, you're never going to short of a beer or two. You can always have a laugh. And you've got a good partner for a round of golf every now and again. He looks like a really good bloke.
Yeah, you can imagine if you were picking someone to just hang out with, or just that old question, which player on the PGA Tour would you like to go for a pint with?
Yeah.
He'd be winning a lot of those, wouldn't he, I'd imagine?
He's got a little glint in his eye as well. There's
Yeah.
probably a bit of mischief behind those eyes as well, I should imagine. But anyway, Shane Lowry, Rory McIlroy, everybody, good luck with your golf over the foreseeable future. Just a reminder then, picking Rory McIlroy to win the Wells Fargo. He's 15-13 to do exactly that. And DT's 2-ball treble for the final round. Denny McCarthy to beat Lee Hodges 4-5. Sam Burns 11-10 to beat Jason Day, and Sepp Straka, he's 11-10 to beat Sunjay Im. You roll that all together, it's a 6.56 to 1 treble. DT, thank you for your time. I will see you later. We're on football duty later. I will see you then.
We are, and then we've got a busy week, haven't we? Next week at the USPGA, where we'll be on every day.
We will indeed. Looking forward to that. Let's have a long range pick off the top of your head. Who's going to win that?
Scotty Scheffler. So I'm dodging the question by saying that.
Oh, you're so brave, DT. You're so brave. Put yourself out there. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. As always, thanks to switchwatersupply.com for their support of the podcast. Good luck with all your bets. Gamble responsibly. This has been a sports broadcast media production, and we will see you, everybody, next time. Cheers all.
Always gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information.